they got a lot of people on the ground. Joining us now, trying to pull the upset, Susan Hippen, Democrat candidate, District 21, trying to knock off Ron, the sign king Villanueva. Good to have you with us, Susan. You're losing the sign war.
Good morning. Good morning. Well, I tell you, signs do not vote. People do.
Okay.
I think you can ask the city council folks that lost last year.
You could ask, who's the guy that moved to Miami? Really good guy, Osme Torres, right? He spent all his money in signs, and he came out last. I mean, it was, who was it? There's a councilman, John Moss. He taught me one thing I'll never forget. Him one day because he was being outspent $1,000,000 to $1, and he said, "Johnny, let me tell you, checks vote once."
That's right. They only vote once, and so do people.
That's
so
right.
They can put up all the signs they want, but if the message isn't clear, if the candidate isn't visible, if the candidate's not talking to voters about why they need to be changed, they're going to be gone.
Okay, so Susan Hippen, now you ran in 2013, same race, same district, District 21, Virginia Beach. Now this was, 2013. McAuliffe had it going on, right? Spent a lot of money
correct.
that you was getting the turnout, and you got 46%, not a bad showing. But you think that, well, in 2015, that's even going to be harder. What can you change in order to win?
I can change who's coming out to vote and letting them know that I'm the one that's going to make sure that they know who their delegate is and what their delegate is doing. I don't believe that Ron is doing that. He's just a low-key guy, and I'm there to talk to people, let them know that I'm there to serve them. I believe that serving in the legislature is a privilege and not a right, and that's the difference.
Okay, so when you say Villanueva has not been visible or he's not there, I mean, are you saying that he's not serving his constituents or he's just not visible in the campaign? How do you mean that?
I don't believe he's serving his constituents. I talked to one voter who had to call the Speaker of the House to get a call back from Ron. That's not the way you serve your constituents. You answer their calls. You have an office in the district that's open while you're not in session at a minimum, and you're available to people. You don't just pop up when it's election time. There are things that people need to talk to you about in between elections, and I just don't feel that Ron does that.
You mean like pop up on election time like Jack in the Box? Is that what you're referring to?
You can say that, okay.
Okay, well, look, I call it like I see it.
Yes, sir.
I like Ron, nice guy, and I know he's pretty popular in the Filipino community, but I called him to get him on the show, didn't get a response. Called him another time, didn't get a response. Emailed him, didn't get a response. So I'm like 0 for 3. Now, maybe he's mad at me or doesn't want to talk to me, but I can confirm what you're saying. I reached out to him 3 times. I'm 0 for 3.
Well, and that's what constituents are telling me when they call the office. They do talk to his legislative assistant sometimes, and then that's it. And that's not the way to represent people. You don't know what people are looking for in your vote up in Richmond. You don't know what they need. As I walk around and knock on doors and talk to people every day, I'm listening to what they need and what they're saying to me, but I'm also giving them the opportunity to talk to me. And I'm letting them know, once I am their delegate, I'm not going to stop knocking on their doors. Mm-hmm. And that's what's important. You can't just show up just before the election or send out a letter once every 2 years. That's just not what the citizens are paying for. So that's my opinion.
All right. Now, Susan, let's get to your background. You've got a pretty interesting resume. Why don't you share that with our audience?
I did 25 years active duty in the United States Air Force and Navy. I retired as a Master Chief from one of the commands at Oceana. After I retired, I took care of my late mother until she died. And then I went back to school, got my paralegal degree, And I became politically active just before my mother died. It kind of calmed down. She actually died 3 days after President Obama was elected the first time. Then I got very, very active in politics and just decided that I didn't like the way that Ron was just not involved with the community as a whole. You're absolutely correct. He is involved with the Filipino community. But the 21st District is made up of more than Filipinos. Now, I have one question for you.
Sure.
Marunong ng Tagalog? See,
What?
because I can ask people for their vote in Tagalog. I have been involved in the Filipino community, but I've also been involved in the white community, in the black community, and so on. And I do believe that a delegate should be involved with everyone. All of these people are his constituents, and that's what's important.
Now, I understand you're also a widow, right?
Yes, sir. I am a widow. My husband died while both of us were on active duty. He died of cancer,
I'm sorry.
that was a challenge. So I have dealt with that. I also navigated the healthcare system with my mother while she was still alive, and I've also been involved with a relative who has come out of incarceration and turned his life around as
Really?
well. So there's, a lot of the things that people are dealing with, I've dealt with. I remember coming out of college because I couldn't pay for it, and that's why I went into the military, to get money for education.
Susan, give me two key policy differences that stand out between yourself and Mr. Villanueva.
In January, Ron voted no to equal pay for men and women with the same experience and the same job training. And I would not have voted no against that. I believe in equal pay for equal work. That's number one. Two, I believe that this area needs mass transit to clear up some of the traffic. As I was waiting for you to get to me, I listened to all of the backups that are the norm, not the exception, the norm. Coming across the Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel, going in and out of the downtown tunnel, on I-64. If there's one accident, it backs up for miles and miles and miles. Virginia Beach has 5 bus routes. Chesapeake has 5 bus routes. We need to cultivate the mass transit down here like we have up in Northern Virginia and like we did. The infrastructure's been there for decades where I grew up in Cleveland and Philadelphia. And that's just one of the things, and I think that's important for working people. And that's the majority of the people we have here, working people.
So the Republican leadership gave Mr. Villanueva a key position on transportation. Obviously, if you were to lose, that goes away. You're in the minority. Look, you're going to be one of 33 or 34, 35 people. I mean, you really can't get anything done. There's an argument on the other side that says Villanueva's got a key seat in transportation. He's part of the majority. He can get things done. It's kind of like when Robin Abbott got in there a few years back. I mean, she had 100 things that she put on the agenda. None of them ever got out of committee. And so, it's tough when you're in the minority. So why should people in your district give up somebody that's in a key position in transportation in the majority and turn it over to a newbie that's, going to be one of 33 perhaps?
Well, there's already 33. So I would say it would be going in the 40s direction. I tell you, first of all, they need to look around and see what has Ron done on transportation here. I can't point out to anything. The couple of things that I've heard that he's talked about, the Kempsville Witch Duck Princess Anne expansion, that was from the stimulus package, the federal government stimulus package. The few things that I see going on, the Lesnar Bridge, that was from the city taking money from the Centerville Turnpike expansion, which is now going back on the grid. Those are things that the city is doing. I don't see what's coming from him. So if he can't do it as a follower, I don't see how he can do it as a leader. You have to be able to follow before you can lead.
Okay, I'm going to give you the final word. Why should people of the 21st District come out and vote for Susan Hippen on November 3rd over Ron Villanueva?
Because for 25 years, I worked with everybody. We were not Democratic or Republican sailors. We were United States Navy sailors. I have worked with some of the most difficult people. I've worked with some of the most pleasurable people. And the bottom line is you want someone who is responsive to you for even the smallest details when you call your representative. You also want to know who that person is. And I believe that the working families of Virginia Beach and Chesapeake need a delegate who is there for them and them only.
All right. Well, you've got a very, very intriguing and impressive background, Susan.